Bingo, bango. Thank you for watching the 30-second countdown clip. I am Derek Thompson, and I am back here with the Shadow Mark podcast with Mr. TJ Davidson.
What's up?
And tonight is going to be a good show, man. Just based off the last 15 minutes of getting the bullshit and talk, it's been awesome so far. That being said, tonight we're going to be introducing and welcoming very, very, very special guest, Staff Sergeant Ramiro Vazquez. Uh, introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, give us kind of your background story, what you're doing now, and then we're just going to start diving in, rolling in with your story, man.
Nope. Sounds good. I did 20 years in the Army. I was a 19 Delta Bravo 4 or Cavalry Reconnaissance Scout Sniper. Enlisted in 1989, retired in 2009. I'm getting retirement pay for 20 years, 3 months, and 3 days, according to what the Army's telling me. No, wasn't keeping track. There was no countdown. Did 2 tours in Iraq, 1 tour in Bosnia, and I did a 30-day stint in Afghanistan as part of a MIT training team, lesson TTPs, tactic, techniques, and procedures, lessons learned. Been stationed Fort Hood, Fort Irwin, California, Fort Riley, Kansas. I was an OC at the National Training Center for the Dragon team. Did a stint as a recruiter for 2.5 years. Yeah, I was good, but it was, just was definitely not the highlight of what I thought a military career soldier should be doing.
Oh, I don't blame you, man. So I get that. So what was life like before the military for you, man?
The life before actually prepared me pretty well for the Army, especially with my job, my MOS. So I was born in Omaha, Nebraska, raised in Alliance, Nebraska, clearing the panhandle and the boondocks of nowhere land. Stepfather, I know, right? They grow us big, strong, and stupid.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
But no, a tough upbringing. My stepfather would beat the crap out of us every time we got out of line, thinking that's normal. So when I did anything and everything I could to stay out of the house. So I was in concert choir, swing choir, a couple of musicals, wrestling, football, track. I even tried band for a year, trombone. Didn't make the top 10 list.
Dude, I love this. I love that you're a choir geek and you were like, I'm going to be a football stud. I'm doing everything.
Yep. Well, I don't know about the football stud, but I did get an award for the most improved. When I graduated high school, I was 163, 165 pounds, about 5'9", 5'10". Did National Guard, went to Kearney to go to college, and the deal, you can't spell drunk without UNK. So majored in what most kids major in when they're in college, alcohol and women. Realized that there was something more to life. So I went active duty and loved it. Basic training was a blast. Drill sergeant. So this will relate to how my upbringing got me prepared for the Army. My Drill Sergeant Ritter, Drill Sergeant Shireen at the Disney Barracks at Fort Knox, Kentucky. For our final APFT, he's like, we're on the top, our second or top floor, and he's like, are you ready? Are you motivated? Yes, Drill Sergeant. Are you motivated? Yes, Drill Sergeant. He hits me. My feet get tangled up. I go tumbling down the stairwell. My shoulder hits the bottom of the concrete stairwell, and my head bounces right off of the concrete. You can hear it reverberating through the halls, through the stairwell. Drill Sergeant Ritter, Drill Sergeant Shireen come running down. Vasquez, are you okay? And I am laughing my ass off. Just good. I'm serious. There were like tears going down my down my cheeks, and they're like, "Vasquez, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, Drill Sergeant." And they're like, "Are you trying to get a psych discharge?" I'm like, "No, Drill Sergeant. This reminds me of home."
Yeah, this is just normal shit. This is normal life for me.
Exactly.
You just said that was 89?
That was 89, Disney Barracks. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
back whenever they used to beat everybody. Like
Oh, yeah. Well, hell, I remember it wasn't Drill Sergeant Ritter. It wasn't Drill Sergeant Shireen. One of our other drill sergeants, we had put the camo on. So we were doing some training. And the drill sergeant says, Brad Vasquez, come here. I get their position of attention. He goes, at ease. So some of you younger kids might not know this, but there's a wax pencil that has like a paper thing you just unravel. Yeah. And that was our old dry erase board. So I had my camo on. He goes, Vasquez, come here. And he tries taking that wax pencil and try to draw black lines on my face to make me look cool, I guess. Wasn't working. So he grabbed his lighter. He put it underneath it, blew it off, still nothing. So he lit it like a damn candle. And it was burning by itself. He's holding it there. And this wax stick is burning. And then he puts it on my face and goes, oh, that's better. And he just starts drawing lines all in my face over my camouflage. It looked pretty good, I guess.
I like the idea that he was trying to draw a mustache on you, and you already had a mustache probably.
No.
Joke's on you. He was drawing dicks.
Oh. Hey, you say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's pretty normal, I think. That's pretty common, normal thing. Everyone loves it when that happens. Been there a million times now, sadly enough.
Yeah,
that's why I grew the beard actually, so people quit doing it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in my current job, this is about all I get to grow.
And what's your current job?
I am a police officer at the University of Nebraska at Omaha and University of Nebraska Medical Center.
So I've actually gotten to hear, courtesy of your nephew, some fun stories. I've heard you've had some good times doing this.
Oh, yeah. It's fun. It's interesting. First and foremost, I love helping people. And Joey will tell you, my nephew, that, I love helping people. But every once in a while, you get those individuals that just don't want the help. They are hard-headed. And it is what it is sometimes, You have individuals. Let's see here. I don't want to get in trouble too much at work. I haven't done anything illegal, which, but sometimes you get people that you're trying to talk to them and trying to convince them, listen, you need to do this, and this is the procedures, and this is how I can. There are certain things that I can do to help you, but there are certain things that I can't do. It's out of my scope of expertise. You find an individual, you pull them over for whatever the violation, expired light, running a red light, so you pull them over, and it's a lady. She's 9 months pregnant. She has 2 little kids in the back seat, and she has a warrant for her arrest. It's like, I'm like, exactly. What do you do? We have cameras on us, and our cameras, keeps everybody. There's your side of the story, there's my side of the story, and then there's the camera. There's reality. But it's a two-edged sword, a double-edged sword. Back in the day, they can say, okay, your warrant is for a traffic ticket. You're pregnant. You've got 2 kids. Go take care of your business, okay? Bye. But with the camera going, we don't get that. We are mandated. If they have a warrant, they will be arrested on the spot. We have no
you have to follow the books, right?
Exactly. So,
what's the most interesting thing you've dealt with so far on the college campus?
Oh goodness. Let's see here. There's one day it was just one of those days where when I was in training, it was just back to back to back. Some of the weirdest stuff that you could ever imagine. I'll get a call for a naked guy. Naked guy up on a floor. And next thing you know, all we hear on the radio, there's blood everywhere. So we're like, oh no. So we're running. We get there. It's an elderly gentleman. He's has mental health issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, something along those lines. And he's in the elevator tall. I'm 6'1". He's at least 6'3". He's butt naked, splayed out like this, with this crazy look in his eye in the elevator. And on the left-hand side, on either side of the elevators, are the medical attendants, the staff, holding it open so he doesn't leave. And there's blood, but it's blood from him. He slipped and fell and hit his head. And as we all know,
Your head bleeds like
bleeding.
crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. So we get there and we escort him back. Hey, Officer Vazquez, we're here to help you out. And he sees the uniform. He realizes we're police officers. So he comes with us and we take him back to where he needs to go. Good ending. Then about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, another naked guy fell asleep with a blanket around him in front of one of our business establishments. And this guy, he's a Karen. He just doesn't want to hear it. It's everybody's fault. I'm like, all we want to do is get you someplace that's warm and get you out of the public eye. If you need a ride somewhere, we will get you a ride somewhere. you know, we understand the situation that you're in. And then and on the same day, we get a call for a suicide attempt by a student with pills. So we go and deal with that. And then we get another call for a downed party, which is somebody that's been found just laying on the ground unconscious. So we get there, the fire department gets there. It's a guy that got drunk, was walking, and just passed out. Hey, this grass looks pretty nice. I'll sleep here.
So was he naked too, or
no? He was not naked, thank goodness. And then, when we think we're done for the day, all of a sudden there's another call. It's help an officer. There is an issue with a police officer needs help, and it's literally 4 blocks down the road. And we look at each other, we're like, all right, let's go. So we go to that one, and it was literally nonstop. And then, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dear Lord, just balance this out. A sexy, beautiful co-ed streaking through the dorms. Something just even balance this out. The next day, a naked lady in about her late 60s, early 70s in the emergency room, naked, and she's throwing stuff. So we go in there. I look at her. I'm like, oh, this is not what I was talking about. This does not balance it out. It did not at all.
No, they never do, it seems like. So no. I served, I did 10 years with the fire department here in town. So I totally understand what you meant when what you went through, man. I've been there, done 1,000 times. You go on a call and you're like, I just need something to give me a little bit of hope. And then a call comes in, you're like, this might be it. And you show up and you're like, fuck.
That
was not it.
Nope.
That was not the one. It just made everything 10 times worse. Now I have this image stuck in my mind now for the next 10 years.
Yeah. And thanks for bringing this back, because now I have that image stuck in my mind.
Yeah, I'm glad. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here to help, and I'm here to bring up bad memories, I guess.
Yeah, that's our job, is just, make your life more miserable.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks. I appreciate it.
Oh, God, man. But no, I'm sure you have just a ton of stories from that. But let's go back to the military. We'll backtrack here. We'll go back through this. Let's go through the earlier part of your career and just kind of work from there and start moving forward with that, because you've done a lot of shit, man. From 1989 to 2009, that's a good amount of time. Yeah. That covers a whole series of events, to include 9/11, which I'm sure was just kind of a shit show and a shocker in itself. So you start out in 1989. We joked about going through boot camp and dealing with everything that came with that. What happens next from there?
From there, my first duty station was at Fort Hood, Texas, the Hood. I remember getting to hit HHC 15 Cav, the recon platoon, scout platoon. And I show up there, and there's this big for lack of a better word, slob of a man sitting there. I'm like, Private Vasquez reporting. He looks at me, looks at my last name, sees it's Vasquez. He goes, "Oh, fuck, not another one." I was like, "What the fuck did I do, dude?" I'm like, "Trust me, I'm more redneck than you. I've been, dehorning cattle, branding season, calving season, all that fence post, whole digging out on some farmer's ranch is my first job." But so I got that from him, and then another guy comes walking in shortly after. And I'll never forget this guy, Sergeant First Class Domenico Polanco. He was my platoon sergeant. He was like maybe 5'5", 5'6" tops, but this guy was as hard as woodpecker lips. This guy would run us into the freaking ground. I remember, during one of our runs, we're running. This is before the PC, Jody calls, all that stuff was, couldn't do any of that stuff. He was calling cadence. As we're running, goes, "Pussy, on your left, can't hang, can't be, 19D." And we're running past medical units with females in them. And he's just dogging them out, dogging these company commanders out. "Pussy, can't." I was like, dude. And then I remember one time as we're running, we did that to another unit, and some captain or lieutenant came running up. "Who are you? Who are you?" And I'm the guidon bearer. And the Polanco goes, "Sir, if you don't know who the fuck we are, fucking move out, scouts. Vasquez, roll it up." So I rolled the guy to break it down, rolled it up, and we took off. He hung for like maybe half a mile, but no, he couldn't hang with us. Oh, God.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That really was. It fucking reminds me, we had a young devil dog when we were, goddamn, where was that? I think it was in Pensacola, Florida, but he's always in trouble, man. And he was doing fucking cadence one day, and he starts rolling through a cadence, and I don't remember what the hell the cadence was, but it was something we had like 2 females in the fucking unit. And he gets to this point where he's talking, something about talking about ass. And I just remember he got to the word grass, and we all knew what it was to follow. And we all went, "Don't do it." And our gunny fucking sits there. He goes, "Don't do it, bitch." And he just did it. He went full on, and he did it. And then the whole fucking run got pulled to a stop for a good 15 minutes for him to get his ass chewed. And it was fantastic. Oh, this kid ended up fucking like having to break out of the barracks and shit. He was all over the place, man. He was awesome. I loved him. He was good shit. But yeah, I know what you're talking about when you like just the good old cadences, man.
Well, here's I'll just a couple of snippets from one of the cadences that he would say, that he would count. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's long and it gets worse as it goes along. Let's see. "I wish all the ladies were holes in the road, and I was the dump truck. I'd fill them with my load. Hey, Baba Reba, ho, Baba Reba. I wish all the ladies were bells in the tower, and I was the bellboy. I'd bang them every hour. Hey, Baba Reba." And it got way worse from there. Way worse. But
so he was just living his best life, man.
Oh, yeah. No, it was awesome. It really was. By the time we got to like our 5th, 6th, 8th mile, we didn't care anymore. It was just, in that rhythm, in that cadence. And yeah, it kept our mind off of everything.
Yeah, as I say, it kept your mind distracted and kept it from going to bad places. So looking back and being able to compare things from how it was then to how it is now, what do you see it as now? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, there's some nostalgia. Well, there's a lot of nostalgia, obviously. I think that some of the things that I went through in basic training in an advanced course, AIT.
You're good. Just keep going.
Okay, in AIT, that it actually prepared me more for combat or for going overseas. Whereas nowadays, it just seems like most kids aren't challenged to the level that we were challenged when I was going. At least that's my perspective. And I tell everybody, I'm like, perspective varies from person to person.
Yeah.
My perspective in Iraq and Afghanistan, that individual on the opposite side of my scope was an insurgent, a terrorist. He had little regard or no regard for human life. He's putting roadside bombs on there. But I also recognize that to somebody else, he's a father, a husband, a brother, a martyr. He is defending his country from the infidels that are over there. I realize that. It doesn't mean I'm still not going to put a bullet in that man's chest for putting a bomb on the side of the road or for trying to blow us up. But I recognize that every time I'm getting ready to pull that trigger, that is another human being on the other end of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is MOS dependent also, and how likely you're going to be in actual combat scenarios. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this just in my opinion, a lot of what's going on nowadays, training wise, is they're more focused on not hurting anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't do that if you're training to go to war, because we're not going over there to make them cupcakes and knit sweaters. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, I call it the Care Bear Army. It's, you get stressed out. Here's my stress card. I get X amount of time out without you bothering me, drill sergeant. I'm like, what the hell is that shit? Right. That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be stressed out. You're supposed to be physically at your limit, physically, emotionally. That's what it does. They tear you down to build you up.
Well, that's how they train you also, because if you're in these situations, like, that's how it's going to be. You're going to be the most stressed you've ever been, and you're probably going to be more tired and more physically exhausted than you've ever been, but you still have to comprehend what's going on and make sound decisions and execute the mission at hand.
Exactly. Shoot, move, kill, and communicate. And I tell the kids, I'm like, playing this game doesn't equate to looking at a scope or, going back to after you've engaged an individual and then picking up body parts, to bagging and tagging that shit. It doesn't equate back and forth. I had another spotter. We went and did our job, conducted our missions. We came back and he couldn't take it. He took his life. He just didn't see a way out, and it ate at him slowly but surely. It ate at him.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've had many examples of that going through in your career and dealing with things that you've dealt with, which, I mean, we're, I guess not premature, but I guess it's a good intro point for talking about the mental health side of this. How do we change the outcomes that we're seeing right now? Because we have military members that are dying probably closer to 36 to 44, 46 a day are committing suicide, roughly, based off the last numbers I saw anyway. Obviously the 22 is a big thing. We all know the 22, but it's definitely more than that.
Yeah,
so
it's far more than that.
How do you see that? You've dealt with it for a lot longer than we have, and what's your experience been with that?
Well, everybody processes things differently. Me, because of my upbringing, like I said, growing up the way I did, really did prepare me for the military, especially for my job. In Alliance, Nebraska, we would bring a whole cow alive to our house, put a 45 to its head, pick it up, put it on a table, and butcher it. Hogs, cows, goats. So I had to kill things at an early age. I had to deal with blood at an early age. I knew what death looked like for animals. There are other people that have never had to deal with that. And for whatever reason, they come into a job a combat MOS, and now they have to deal with it, and they've never had those life experiences before to deal with it. That's my perspective on it. Luckily for me, I had. So it doesn't mean that I don't feel bad or sad about the lives that I've had to take or the lives of my soldiers that I've lost. But I deal with it differently than probably most people. Did I get counseling? Oh, heck yeah, I got counseling. And I think that is the first step. Get counseling, find out what it is that you need in order to move past it. It doesn't mean that it leaves you. Those thoughts, closing your eyes, you can still see the blood, you can still see all that stuff. I still see it. It's just that in my mind, I'm like, these guys were bad. I did soldiers a favor. I saved lives. It's validating why you had to do those things. And unfortunately, there are some people that just can't come to grips with it. That, listen, it's a professional army. We are professionals, professional military. I did my job. And I would do the same thing again.
Right. So you felt like you had a purpose.
Exactly.
And so do you think that's like kind of the missing, I don't know what you want, missing link, I guess, in all of this is that, we're in and we have a purpose. When we're doing it, we have a purpose. Then when we start connecting the pieces, there's like this lack of purpose.
I believe that's part of it, but I also think that once we get out of the Army, it's hard to make friends as a soldier once you get out of the Army. It is. For me, I live in a house with my girlfriend. I have coworkers that come over and stuff, but do I have that one buddy of mine that I'm like, hey, dude, I'll call you up, bullshit, have a couple of drinks and stuff? I do, but those are the guys that are in the Army. I don't have a civilian buddy of mine that I can say, dude, this is I would go to a fucking bar with him, and I know that he'd have my ass if we had to throw down. There's not one civilian that I can say that about. But I've got, 3 buddies, and you know who you are: Scotty, Moody, Hellman. Those are my 3 buddies.
Yeah, that being said, hey, like Jason just said, man, come out to Hero Stock and you're going to find a whole new family. He's running Hero Stock, and it's going to be in Ashland, September 9th. If you get a chance, I'd love to see you out there.
Oh, heck yeah. When is it?
September 9th. It'll be in
9th.
Ashland, I believe.
Okay.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but I believe that's where it's going to be, around the Bend Bar and Grill. Something like that. Sound right?
Barbecue, something, yeah.
Yeah, around the Bend Barbecue, yeah.
Like that.
Bend, but yeah, it'll be September 9th. We'd love to see you out there. I'm going to try to be there. I think TJ's going to try to be there. You can meet a whole new family, and like he said, man, yeah, Ashland, Nebraska, around the Bend Steakhouse.
Yeah, sounds
Steakhouse.
good.
Boom.
That's close.
Boom, yeah, there you go. Well, as long as I'm not that hog hunt in Oklahoma over in your neck of the woods, TJ.
Oh man, where's that going to be at?
I don't get me lying to you. Joey's working on that. I know I already gave him the money for it, so it's already paid for.
It's already taken care of. Yeah, it'll be September 9th. It's going to be a good time, man. He's got entertainment. They've got some big bands coming in. I believe he's going to have Scotty Hastings, who's just effing incredible. Nice. By the way, and he's going to be doing some big things here in the future. And then they've got Irreverent Warriors is going to be doing a Silky March, or Ruck March, and a couple other things. But it's just going to be a good time. They basically he does this to get heroes together, and let everyone hang out and meet brothers in arms and have a good time. So
it's pretty much just all the good shit. Like if there's good shit, they're gonna have it there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm in. I'm always in for some good shit.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You want some good shit? Go to Hero Stock.
There you go. Sounds good. Definitely.
Oh, hey, fun fact here. This is funny. My mom just fucking said, "Did TJ find somebody to let him be their motorcycle bitch?" So, fun fact. I believe Jason did find somebody for TJ and it's going to be a big hairy dude. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Oh, yeah.
We got a big hairy guy to be TJ's motorcycle bitch. I'm excited
There you
about
go.
it. Hopefully he can make it.
It's like you're welcome, DJ.
Yeah, we gotta be careful though, because like if the wind blows and shirt up a little bit, we might get stuck together like Velcro, and it could be a whole ordeal, you know.
Yeah, togetherness builds camaraderie.
All right, so we'll dive back into kind of the subjects here. We've got a big post here. Speaking from outside combat MOS, my biggest thing was disillusionment, honor, courage, and commitment. I thought I was joining family. In my unit, 3 people screwed my fiance at the same time. Superiors pressuring me to the wrong thing, stopping me from being on promotion boards, getting treated like shit. Being out, I have literally only had Pepper checking on me. I can deal with the shit. The thing I had a problem with is the fact that they don't practice what they preach en masse. I get that, man. I believe that was, give me a second here. I can let you know. That was Lawson Mullins. I think a lot of us can connect to that. You know, I think the common saying in the military was, I can trust you with my life, but not my money or my wife.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah. Now, at the end of the day, what do they say? The only person that's going to take care of you is you. You know,
Right.
and the Army, at least for us, we have all these resources that are available to us. But once they give you that information and stuff, it's pretty much hands off. You know, if you don't take advantage of that and get in with a group, get in with an organization that constantly follows up and gets you engaged, then it does feel like a lot of times you're out on your own. And bro, it sucks to have something like that happen to your wife. Okay, so disclaimer. How many times you been married, Derek?
I've been married twice.
TJ, how many times you been married?
Uno. So you're on 5, huh?
5 times. 5
That
times
just-
married. 5
That just
times
ruins
divorced.
my third time's the charm theory.
No,
Go,
third
man.
time's not the charm.
Maybe that's just not for you. You know?
No, and that's what I say. But I like to think of myself as a hopeful romantic, not a hopeless romantic.
There you go.
Apparently, I look good on paper.
Hey,
I think you look good.
that's
Oh,
to be
there you
fair,
go.
man. I think you're a stellar looking dude. You know,
Thanks. Eyes and all, huh?
yeah, fucking A, man.
Oh,
That's
hell
what I'm
yeah.
talking
That's
about.
where it's at.
That's what'll turn the lady on. Right
Oh,
there.
yeah. But no, so the other gentleman about the wives, I tell people this all the time, especially after being married and divorced 5 times. Shoot, the last one on me took me through the ringer. Dude, so she was a nurse, and you know what they say about nurses? They're crazy. She had an affair with this guy, and I overheard her telling him, and this is almost verbatim, well, in 6 to 8 months, with everything's all said and done and we're together, I'd be happy with you anywhere, as long as I have a real fireplace and a real ensuite. I would be such a great mother to your daughters. I would be such a great role model. Come to find out, the 6 to 8 month mark was because his wife had stage 4B cervical cancer, and the oncologist gave his wife 6 to 8 months to live before she died from cancer. And my wife at the time was making plans to live with this guy and marry him and all this other stuff once his wife died. And it was a patient at her hospital.
That's insane, man.
So what I tell people is, no matter how amazing and incredible you think that other individual is, male or female, you know, if you're a girl and your guy is amazing and incredible, there's a reason why they were single when you met him, because somebody was tired of their fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's that's a good point. There's something to be said about that.
Yeah. So for the gentleman that said, you know, that happened to his wife, no matter what he thinks and stuff, it was a terrible thing that happened to him and his fiance. There's always somebody out there. It's never that relationship. It's never the end all and beginning all of your life. There's something else.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the end all be all, man.
Trust me, 5 times.
And I was gonna say, I'm been married twice. They're both divorced twice. My first marriage was while I was in the Marine Corps, and my wife cheated on me about the entire time. So I mean, I get it, man.
Oh yeah.
You just sit there and you deal with it, and you move on, and you find something new in life, and you make the best of it. That's all you can really do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Find what makes you happy.
Exactly. And even if you have to do it 5 times.
I was about to say, apparently women make me happy 5 times. I've got a girl, good lady that I'm with right now. Her name is Callie, and she's like, "Well, we're practically married." I'm like, by that logic, we're practically divorced. Dude.
You're like, I'm going to keep it that way. Too. We're just going to be
practically married forever.
We're just going to be practically married for the sake of myself.
Just keep going for it. Like statistically. Eventually it's going to stick, right?
Oh yeah. Well, what was it? In the middle of the divorce one time, what was it, when Donald Trump was running for presidency and we had these women's marches everywhere? They had a women's march here in Omaha, in downtown Omaha. And yes, I was in the middle of the women's march supporting them live on Facebook. And my buddies are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, the odds are in my favor right now. I'm surrounded by women. Come on." Really?
I like the idea of you sitting in the middle of the women's march in a vagina hat. Cats right now.
I was actually yelling what was it? The Husker chant. Go Big Red. And then they were all go Big Red. Exactly. So
that's awesome.
I could yell any woman's name, and at least 3 of them will turn and look at me. Jennifer. 3.
No.
You.
So a buddy of mine taught me this trick. What you do is you say, "Hey, baby," and the one that turns around, that's it.
That's it. Oh, very good.
Marriage.
Nice.
I need to try that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, just go to the bar and be like, hey, baby. And the one turns on.
This is science. Now we're diving into science.
Well, the science portion of it was that the crazy hot matrix.
Yeah,
have you seen that
crazy hot matrix?
Oh yeah, find that unicorn.
Yeah, they don't.
So you have the crazy hot matrix, and then the fuck around and find out.
Yes.
And everyone loves the F around and find out matrix.
Oh yeah. That would have been ex-wife number 4.
My buddy actually just used that at work like last week.
Yeah.
This week, I think it was. I walked in, I see the F around and find out matrix.
Oh, jeez.
Drawn on the board. And I said, "So who screwed up?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, they wouldn't listen. They didn't believe me. They wouldn't. They didn't want to go with what I said. So here I am." And I was just like, "Good for you, buddy."
So they found out, right?
Yeah, so they did. They found out. And they had to make things go their own way. But
we have in my family, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, an older brother, older sister, younger sister. I am literally that middle child. So we have this family saying, it's a family motto more than anything else. If you want to play fuck, I'll play fuck.
That makes sense. So anyways, let's dive into some of your Army stories. Yeah, I'm sure you've got a lot, man. You were a Camp Scout sniper. You got to do a lot of fun shit, man.
You weren't in very long, but
I believe you weren't in for too long, but and I believe at one point you said you were medevaced.
Yep. So I did, like I said, 2 tours in Iraq and that little stint in Afghanistan. When I was in Iraq, on our convoy, blown up 3 times, 2 IEDs, 1 VBID, and 1 RPG. The RPG was in Afghanistan, but the car bomb, the VBID, a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, I was driving. Lieutenant was TCing, another sergeant was in the gunner's seat. We saw 1 vehicle on the right-hand side of the road, and we're like, "Hey, possible VBID," but we see 2 individuals in it. Like, nope, not a VBID. And then about 100, I want to say about 75, 100 meters further up the road, we see an exact identical vehicle, but nobody's in it. And then we have the jammer. We have an ICE jam, but that ICE jammer is in the lead vehicle. and it only covers so much to be able to jam a signal.
Right.
Well, I'm the third vehicle in the convoy, and I'm like, oh, possible V-bit. So I drive all the way over to the left-hand side. The vehicle's on the right. I gun it as hard, as fast as I can, and sure as shit, it blew up on us, took out 3 of our tires, took out our air conditioner. I'm going sideways like this at about 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, shit, I got a flat tire. Then I go ahead and turn to the left to try to straighten out. Then the right side of the vehicle, passenger side, starts sliding. On about 45, then I'm like, shit, if those tires catch on the asphalt, we're flipping this thing at about 45 miles an hour. It's a fully up armored Hummer. So I'm able to get it back under control. I go straight for the sand. As soon as I hit the sand, I just pull that e-brake and pop and hit my brakes. I'm popping that e-brake, letting that sucker dig into the sand. So we got there, bells rung, knocked out our communications. It was just, it sucked. And then we all look at each other and we're like, is everybody okay? We do the IED check, the bomb check, fingers, toes. Yeah, I still got my head.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we just start laughing and yell, "You fucking suck! You fucking suck! You can't even kill us, you stupid mother!" Yeah. So, and funny we should mention that. I just my Lieutenant DeStefano, he grabbed the license plate of that thing and made awards, or not awards, I guess, little commemorative things. So I have part of it. They have part of it broken up in 3 parts, and he has a little blurb: survived direct hit, biggest, largest explosion. My platoon sergeant was right behind me. When it detonated, he saw nothing. I'm talking the explosion took over the side of the vehicle, over the 4-lane road. It was a massive explosion. All he saw were parts above the smoke and the explosion and the sand flying everywhere. He literally thought we had disintegrated. The explosion, there was that much explosives in that vehicle.
So you're all right. And,
yeah. Well,
so how do you end up getting medevac?
So part of that explosion afterwards, adrenaline hits you. No, I'm good. And then about 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, oh, my back is getting stiff. I don't know what the hell's going on. About a week later, I'm in the shower at the base, and all of a sudden, my whole back locks up on me. There is a bone fragment that, when the explosion hit, took a part of my spine and took a part of the bone and chipped it off. So I started losing when I went down on all fours. I was in the shower, butt ass naked. Nobody else was there, and I'm crawling out of the shower in pain, trying to reach up because you have the coat hangers and the towel hangers, and my M4 is up there, so I'm trying to reach up like in serious pain. I can't move to grab my M4 so I can crawl all fours to the aid station. Get there.
Like that, you were committed.
Oh, dude, I've never felt pain like that. But it took a while for that shit to hit me. I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm the guy that's jumping, moving around, picking shit up, and all of a sudden I'm down on all fours like a little fucking bitch. I'm like, what the?
I need to know if you crawled there to the aid station butt ass naked,
No,
wet after the shower, just covered in fucking mud and
soap and
I was
shit.
I was able to get my shorts on and my socks on, but everything else that was it. And I'm on my hands and knees crawling. One of the other guys saw me, helped me, got me to the aid station. But at the aid station, at a FOB, it's the aid station. They don't have x-rays. They don't have MRIs, none of that stuff. So they gave me a Toradol shot. The Toradol shot, freaking amazing. I was like, oh, yeah, that feels good. Oh, yeah. But once that Toradol shot wore off, oh, yeah. Like, that thing was better than, for me at least, better than morphine or oxy or whatever the heck they give you. That Toradol shot hooked me up big time. But they can only give me a certain number of Toradol shots, back to back after that.
Yeah, there's only because you have a max dosage that you can be allowed within a certain period of time. So I'm sure
And I had reached that, and my back was not getting any better. It was just constantly in pain.
Right.
And then my right leg started going numb. So I'm 90% disabled. I have permanent neuropathy on my right leg. Mr. Deeds, I can go ahead and punch and hit my leg all day and not feel a damn thing. Which is a good thing. I can kick somebody and not feel
anything.
Exactly. But so they medevaced me out, and then so they sent me to LSA Anaconda. LSA Anaconda did an X-ray. They saw the fragment, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're medevacing you to launch stool." So medevaced me to launch stool. The surgeon there was a civilian. He volunteered. He was out of California somewhere. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to fix this and get you good to go." So got there, and pretty much everything in my back, he fixed that he saw. He's like, "Hey, you had a hernia this or
shit."
Yeah, the guy was amazing. He was amazing, the doc. But I always wanted a tattoo. So since I was on all these pain meds while I was at launch stool, I went to K-Town, Four Corners in Kaiserslautern, Germany, and got a tattoo by a one-eyed British guy named David.
Hell yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is as military as it gets, man.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with that situation?
I know, right? It's like, I have one tattoo. That's it. And I designed it myself. So when
I love this.
Oh, in one of the missions and stuff, we got blown up. Well, we went to, what was it, Bonnie's Aid, did a cordon knock and search. And then on the way back, one of our guys saw, you know how a roadside bomb with a wire is. You see that lightning running across the desert. Yeah. So we called a halt. I was active platoon sergeant at the time. I sent some guys north. I went south, tracking on foot, trying to find the wire. I had three guys up north, Dickinson, Bime4, and another guy, a Jaffo. He was a tag-along from another platoon. So they're heading north. They find the wire. And Dickinson, he's also my spotter, Christopher, and he's walking the wire up, and then all of a sudden he pulls on it. It's in a bush, and all of a sudden it detonates on him, kills him instantly. Joe, the shrapnel knocks his fingers, curls it back. The weapon's his M4's all jacked up. Shrapnel got underneath his abdomen, underneath his body armor, and there's intestines everywhere, right? So they had to give him morphine, and Joe's there, and one of our guys is holding his hand, tell him he'll be okay. And then Joe's like, "Be positive." And the specialist said, "That's right, Sarge, be positive." He's like, "No, be positive." "That's right, be positive. What's ETA for the bird?" He goes, "Fucker, blood type. Be positive." I was like, "Yeah, you can't make this shit up."
Oh my God.
No,
man, you've been through so much. So what's the mental side of that look like for you?
For me, the mental side, as you can see, I slowed down a little bit and thought about it. When you talk about it, it does take you back to it. There are certain smells, like whenever I smell burning trash, it takes me back there.
Right.
But I know that we were there for a good, just cause. And I know that Joe would not want me, and Dickinson would not want me to think of anything other than the good parts of our lives that we had together. Right. After Dickinson passed away, I grabbed my camera and stuff like that, because, like I said, he was my gunner, and he was my on my Humvee Hummer, and he was also my spotter. So, without realizing it, after we got blown up and he passed away and stuff, given that last full measure of devotion in defense of this country, I'm looking through my camera. He grabbed the camera before before we got blown up, did not realize it. And he took a bunch of selfies with my camera. And I found those after the fact. Yeah. So good, funny stuff. And Joe Bimefore, Staff Sergeant Bimefore, he was my roommate in my chew. And so now I had a room, a chew, all to myself because he got medevaced. He did survive. One of his legs, it blew his leg off from just below the kneecap. The other leg, there was an entrance wound on mid-thigh, but no exit wound. Well, come to find out, it was a piece of shrapnel that hit that thigh mid-on and hit the femur and just shattered it. And when it shattered it, it just tore up everything in there. All the muscle tissue just destroyed it. So he lost that leg from the hip socket down. Yeah, and then he had a tube. He has a scar from here all the way down to below his belly button and all the way across to the rib cage.
I'm sure
that sucker's hard as woodpecker lips. And then they're like, "Hey, Vazquez, since he's your roommate, you need to pack all of his shit up to send it back to his family and send it back to him." I'm like, "Okay." And I look down there. I'm like, "Oh shit, he's not gonna need." We wear the same size boots. Joe, you're not going to need these. I left a note. I said all this shit, a couple of his boots and a couple of the new socks. I'm like, dude, honestly, Joe, you're not going to need these. So I needed socks. You're in a combat environment. I was like, dude, I need socks. So I kept some of his socks. I kept his boots. Joe was a great guy. He had a.
You're just like, hey, man, you ain't got no legs.
Love you like a brother, Joe, but you don't need the socks no more. I said your gloves, but not the socks.
Just keep your feet warm, and you ain't got no feet. So,
yeah, listen here, homie. I mean, you just got to deal with what you got to deal with.
Exactly. And he got out, went through rehab, whole 9 yards, became one of the, on his wheelchair, you know how they do the races on the wheelchair? His arms were freaking massive and huge. Met a lovely lady, had a child, and then unfortunately, don't know where he got it from. I assume it's from all the stuff that he had inside of his body eternally. He got cancer, and he passed away. Joe passed away from cancer.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the one constant, life change and death.
So that's the thing, though. So how mentally, how do you sit there and do you, deal with this? How do you understand this? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that they don't deal with it. They don't understand it. They don't know how to, take it in. And I know you had a tough childhood. You've just been tough from the get-go. But I mean, mentally, how do you sit there and bring that all to terms? Like, how do you sit there and say, "Hey, this happened to me"?
Yeah. For me, I look at the guys that are no longer with me. You know, Dickinson, Turner, Bimefore. And the list goes on, unfortunately. And I'm thinking, what can I do to make them proud of me? What can I do to honor them? Would they give up? Joe sure as hell didn't give up. Dickinson didn't have that. He was such a good kid, Dickinson, my spotter. 26 years old, in the prime of his life. You know, there was so much more ahead of him. What kind of dishonor would I bring to them by not doing the best that I can to help other people? I'm the kind of guy, even in uniform, I'll go to McDonald's. And when I pay for my meal, every single time, I'll get the vehicle behind me. Every single time. And every time I do something like that, it's in honor and memory of my guys that I've lost. You know, it's just one little thing that I can do that helps me deal with it. You know, it's not what would Joe do or what would Dixon do? Because Joe wouldn't have bought the son of a bitch his meal behind. He wouldn't. He was a cheap son of a gun. But in his memory, I do something good. I try. And I think that's all we can do is just try. Find that one thing that makes you happy. I love to fish. So I bought a house that's about 4 blocks from a lake. Unfortunately, this fall they drained it dry. So I'm like, I can't fish now. But I work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. As soon as I get off of work, open up the garage door, get out of my uniform, throw a rod in the bed of the truck, and I'm out there on the lake fishing.
So you're just doing what you can to live for everyone that, you lost.
Exactly. They can't do it. So I'm trying to, because Joe liked to fish. Dickinson, he was just a troublemaker in a good way. In a good way, he was one of those individuals that had a dry sense of humor. Didn't say a lot, but when he said it, we were all on the ground rolling. We were all in tears.
Welcome to TJ. That's Mr. TJ Davidson right there.
Yeah. I've got a picture of us when he's. So whenever we go through CLS, Combat Lifesavers, we have to stick somebody, and I would always volunteer to get stuck because I've got these huge ass veins. So it makes it easier for them to pass. Yeah, just go ahead and stick Vasquez. Yeah, just go ahead and stick me. It's okay.
Hell yeah.
And I've got a picture of Dickinson, has a tourniquet on there, and he's trying to get the flash and put that catheter in, and then we would play games. We would see who could give themselves their own IV. So we wrap up like that, put that little rubber band over there, stick it in ourselves, in our arms. I'm like, okay, take out the needle, got it. And I'm like, oh, shit, the IV line's right there.
You know how hard that is?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, there's going to be blood everywhere. So I let go of it and blood squirting out. I'm like, got it.
It's so hard to get the IV catheter connected.
Yep. Oh,
it's impossible.
Especially with one hand. That's why there's blood everywhere.
Fun fact, I'm sure that you're food. It's not called CLS anymore. It's TCCC, and you no longer learn how to give IVs.
Oh, you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
Way to ruin everything, TJ. Jeez.
Way to go, buzzkill.
I know.
Jeez.
I'm here for you guys. Everything. I told you, I'm just here to make the day work.
That being said, I've asked a lot of questions. TJ, what do you got, man?
Oh, shit. So from 89 to 09, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how much change did you see from just the way that it was when you first joined, and then by the time you retired with this isn't the old Army,
Well, and I think that there's obviously a change from the time I got in to the time I left. I mean, obviously. I remember we could no longer do the Jody call cadences. So I would have to take the guys out on the tank trails and sing my Jody calls. If not, we would get in trouble. We'd get written up or have to show up at the first sergeant's office, the sergeant major's office. It's never a good thing to go to the sergeant major's office. But I could see a difference in, I wouldn't say the quality of soldiers, but I would definitely say their demeanor. They're
softer. They
are softer. They are, for lack of a better Western term, a tenderfoot. They just didn't seem to have the same grit. I remember soldiers.
All right, Staff Sergeant, this is going to be on you. I can't. I don't speak Spanish so well, so I'll post this up for you. Here you
go. No el camino in the moto tune. It said something in the road.
Here you go.
They translate it?
Yeah, not really.
No, it didn't.
I figured you'd have a better guess than I do.
Oh, nope, none. I speak it. I don't write. So, but
no El Camino in the moto run. Run lots of laughs. I fat fingered it.
Like El Camino, like the car on the moto run.
Oh, El Camino. Oh, the El Camino.
Yeah, no El Camino in the moto run. I just figured they were trying to speak Spanish, and I fucked that up.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, it just seems like they're a little bit different. No, they're smarter on certain things, but I think
Right.
they lack. Some of them lack life experiences. Um, but I can honestly say, even with all that stuff, our military is, from what I've seen of what's going on in Ukraine to the Russian army, conventional warfare, we would just devastate the Russian army. And it's just, I was surprised, pleasantly so, how fast Ukraine had been able to decimate, stop, rout, and push back the Russian army. Seeing some of the videos of their vehicles, Russian vehicles, just in a line on a road, I'm like, okay,
Right.
what happened to herringbone? What happened to establishing basic security? Dispersion of your forces, just the basics. They lack the basics.
Well, hit me up in like 5 years, and I'll let you know how it went.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What I
But,
tell you, man, he's our dry one-liner. He's the man. I love fucking TJ, man. Oh God.
Yeah, but it's definitely a different force, for the good or for bad. I believe that you make it what it is. The NCOs, the professional NCOs, the professional officers we have in the military, even by today's standards, are still far, far above, obviously, Russia. So my concern is, for the overall world at large, is, fighting multiple fronts, fighting China, fighting
Right.
fighting Russia, fighting all these, North Korea simultaneously. So thank goodness we've got NATO, because even though we spend more money per GDP than any other country out there, we definitely need. It's definitely going to be interesting if the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, it goes back to like just classic instances of alliances and everything that happens with war.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I have another question for you before we shut this down. So, whenever Derek asked you about how you deal with your past and everything that's happened, it seems to me like you focus more on like the good times and the humor side of things rather than focusing on all the negative.
Yeah.
So how hard is it for you to make that happen, to keep the negative out of your mind when it comes to talking about everything that's happened?
There are certain times, like anniversaries, when Dickinson passed away and Joseph got blown up, or when Turner passed away. It's those days that are the hardest. Those days where it actually, you actually lost to some of your brothers in arms, and that brings a whole new meaning to the word brother. I have my two brothers from the same mother, and I have my brothers from the military, and unequivocally, I would lay down my life for them back then as I would still today. But losing one of them hits hard. It does. But those days are a little bit harder than most. I keep myself busy, doing things that I know that brings them honor, that brings a sense of accomplishment. I have a list of things that I normally do. I'm kind of anal in that. I love a list. I love checking that list down. And so I make sure that I try to have my list ready for that day and stuff, so that I just focus on that list. And at the end of the day, I'll have a beer, or I'll have a shot of tequila. And I was like, thank you for what you guys have done, for your sacrifices. I love you, brothers, and I miss you. And that's how I honor them. But I don't drink a lot. Everything in moderation. But that's how I do it for myself personally. It just honor them with positivity, honor them with as much kindness as I can, but understanding that kindness only goes so far. So yeah, that's it. Just live every day the best as you can. Honor them by not giving up, by staying in the fight, um, and remembering in that way.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. Yeah,
I love that.
Pretty much asking that just for listeners and anybody else that's viewing this, so maybe they can try to change some of the ways that they're dealing with the same kind of situations.
Yeah, it's hard, and everybody's demons are different. Everybody's, what do they call it? Antecedents, they're triggers. For me, it's the smell of burning trash. It really is. The smell of burning trash. Every time I went on an ops, every time we punched that wire, every time we went out on a raid or a cordon search or something, they were always burning trash over there. So that smell of burning trash is what gets me. Well, what other smell? But luckily we don't have that here. That's that poo mud. That sewer septic stuff was like driving. The first time I saw it, oh, that's a black muddy water you drive through. Oh, it's sewage. No.
Oh no, it's poop. It was poopy.
There's actually a pretty good name for that. We called it Hottie Shit Lake.
Oh, we just called it poo mud.
You say it fast enough, it sounds kind of exotic, but it's really not.
It does.
Oh, inshallah. That is funny. I see what you mean, Derek. I see what you mean. Well played. Well played.
Oh God, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. But oh Lord, God, I've got we've got hours and hours we could talk, but I'll bring it to a close because we've hit our hour mark like we usually do. And it's been awesome, and we're gonna bring you back. I think bringing you back would be awesome. Talk more stories and just have fun. We need that, and it's great to talk to you because we need more fun in the world. We need more people that have a optimistic look at everything, and it's so great to have you on here because you have an optimistic look at things. I get why Joey loves you so much.
He's a great kid.
It's incredible. I mean, it really is. So that being said, so we usually wrap up our episodes. We like to talk about what you took from the episode. And we always start with our guest. What did you take from talking today?
That the demons are still there. The memories, they never leave us. But how we deal with them, the adversity that we face and the way that we face them, that's what brings honor and to the memory of those that we've lost. So remembering that has helped me, that, paying it forward, helping somebody that needs help, and doing that in my brother's memories and for those that are no longer with us. That's what helps me out.
That's awesome. If you had any advice that you could give somebody that's just struggling, what would that be?
Talk to somebody. You are not alone, brother. You are not alone. There are thousands of us out there that would, in a heartbeat, get on the phone and talk to you. And I've had that. I've had friends. I've had people come and talk to me. Hey, can I talk to you? I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah, you can talk to me. I will talk. I will listen. I never tell people what to do. I don't. I give them options, and it's up to them to make that decision on what they want to do with their life. But the only way out is for you to face it in your own way, but in a positive manner.
Right. That's incredible. Yeah, I love that. I mean, you're absolutely right. That's great. TJ, what'd you take from this week's episode, brother?
Man, I think it's just the positivity for me. Even talking about losing your brothers, and you watched it happen. You were there, and you still, while even telling the story, you were kind of laughing while you're telling the story because you were talking about like, they were joking around like, be positive and like, no, bitch, I'm talking about like, my blood type is B positive, like that's how it's just the perspective of it, like instead of trying to focus on how bad the situation was, you were more focusing on like the humor in the situation and stuff like that, and just staying positive the whole time. Like that, I really like that.
Yeah, I do too. That was my biggest takeaway. I'm not gonna steal from you guys, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. The positivity, be positive, and that's not just me being positive, but remember your fucking blood type. So
That's right.
but no, uh, like Staff Sergeant said, man, just be positive, look at things in the right way, uh, and keep moving forward because that's all we can do.
Yep.
That's what I took away from this week's episode. TJ, I know you have some shit that you need to say before we end the episode.
Yeah, I mean, don't be a cocksucker. If someone has some issues and they want to talk to you, listen to them, try to help them out, and just reach out and touch somebody. Somebody you served with, somebody that has been through some difficult situations, and they might be normally posting dank ass memes on Facebook, but you haven't seen any dank ass memes in a good while. Hit them up and just be like, hey, "What's up, man? Like, you doing all right? Like, been thinking about you. Like, you never know. It might make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I'm going to hit up everything. All right. Shut the fuck up, Mullins. God damn it.
Hey,
I had to do that. He fucking he requested it. That being said, man, I want everyone to sit there and hit up the Shadow Mark Facebook page. We've got a new page that will actually be dedicated to the podcast. I'm going to do my best to update everyone on what's going on there. Yeah, TJ said that for years. That's what it was just a. But anyways, yeah, we've got the Shadow Mark page. We've got Shadow Mark on YouTube, as you guys can see right now. We've got Shadow Mark Society of Misfits. Hit us up on there. Make sure you guys are liking us, sharing us, subscribing, doing everything you can. Staff Sergeant Ramiro, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. It was been incredible. It's been amazing. I cannot ask for anything better than what we had tonight. This has just been, it's been a blast for me. It's been fun. TJ, do you have any last remarks? I know Mullins just called you out.
Yeah, so I got to send him a shirt. And that's all it's going to be. Just shut the fuck up, Mullins. Mullins, you're getting a shirt, just so you know. So,
all right, deal.
I'll give
deal. That's the next shirt. Shut the fuck up, Mullins.
Oh shit!
How's that go? Time out. Go to your room. Take your clothes off. You better be wearing a flip flop, a thong, and a sombrero because we're playing Strip Twister and Jello tonight, and you're catching.
Baseball themes, right?
That's right.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Oh man, I love you, Mullins, man. I love everyone that listens into the show. Thank you guys so much. That being said, that's it for tonight. Be sure to tune in next week for
more fuckery.
Yeah, exactly. More fuckery. And to be more specific, well, I can't be more specific. You'll just have to find out. So, that being said, deal with it. We will be talking with two drunk dudes in the gun room here shortly.
Two different drunk dudes, not just us.
Yeah, two different drunk dudes, not just us. And then we'll be live with Irreverent Warriors shortly thereafter. So be sure to tune into that. We also have Scotty Hastings coming up. He's doing big things. He's going to be collabing with Lee Bryce and the Miss Dolly Parton, I believe, if memory serves me correct. So be sure to tune into those episodes. I'm super excited about it. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Love you guys. Have a great night.